Athletes, you are now in the hands of the starter.
On your marks.
So away we go here in Vancouver. The T100 has arrived in Canada, and over the next few hours we're going to get treated to watching some of the best triathletes in the world take on this brand new course. Up first, a 2-kilometre swim broken up into two 1-kilometre laps before the athletes make their way onto the bike.
Trying really to get the knees up high there. We can see Mark Dubrick doing that. Not quite as good from Martin there, but we have also heard that it's really, really muddy in the water there. Now that could be Miguel Hidalgo right at the front.
Yes.
It is Miguel Hidalgo. So he's lost his cap as well. We were expecting to see him in a yellow hat. His hat unfortunately has popped off, but the Brazilian on debut is someone I know we are incredibly excited to see race, and he's leading at the first turn after the swim.
Yeah, Miguel Hidalgo then in the lead, Morgan Pearson in second, Mark Dubrick in third, Martin Van Riel in fourth, Antonio Benito Lopez fifth, Carl Smith in sixth, Mika Newt in seventh, Wilhelm Hirsch in eighth, and Jason West in ninth.
Who have we got here?
I think that's Peter Hemlich, isn't it?
It could well be.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Peter Hemlich.
Yeah, oh, we don't want to see this. Peter Hemlich has this bike course, but attention now turns to the exit of the De Boer swim course. And out our athletes go.
First thing to note is that's definitely more than a 10-second gap, which is what they had at the end of lap one. So they have extended their lead. No surprise with the pace that it appeared Morgan Pearson was putting down. And look how far ahead Morgan Pearson is already. He's just about to appear from, there we go, from outside of those bushes. He was lightning fast through transition in San Francisco, and he's doing the same again.
Yeah, our short course athletes who join us, coming from short course where it's such an important aspect, isn't it?
Hidalgo can't get his wetsuit off. There we go. I think he's just got a hold of it. Now that might also be because his hands are cold. That's something you can really struggle to get hold of your zipper when you're really, really cold. So he seems to have managed to do it now, and he's back up running again. That's not allowed. So, you know, they have to do it themselves. And I myself have had a situation where I've stood at my racking point in particularly cold conditions, unable to get my zipper down because my hands just wouldn't work. So it's incredibly frustrating, especially for Miguel, who obviously built up a really great lead, did a great swim, and then lost a little bit at that time. But phenomenal runner. He seems to have made up most of that distance now. I think he's already got his bike. There he is, just coming past Martin Van Riel now. So those two athletes going on the bike side by side.
Yeah, Hidalgo and Martin Van Riel.
And of course, nearest to screen there, that is Rico Bogan. All eyes are on Rico Bogan this week, quite rightly, after the performance he put in San Francisco. We just want to know what he's going to do next.
Yeah, you saw he's got his socks on already underneath his
that
wetsuit
tactic
there.
again. Yeah, exactly what he did in San Francisco. None of the other athletes have copied him, but yeah, that will pay dividends, especially as he heads onto the run. So these are our final two athletes coming out the water, Will Draper and Sam Long. They have, of course, lost a fair bit of time, but it's unusual for Sam Long in that he has another athlete to potentially work with at the start of the bike. And that's actually something that Will Draper spoke about, wasn't it? That he was actually quite keen to see whether he possibly could ride with the level of someone like Sam Long. He's got to go all in and try something a bit new.
So Sam Long, our final athlete out of the water, gets on his bike and he'll start his...
Big rules as well from the crowd for him. He's got a big fan base over here. Try and get really good points, really good scores on the board there, and then maybe peak again later on in the season. But you're always going to want to... Oh, a bottle went flying off. I think that was Rico Bogan's bike. I didn't quite see which one it came off there.
I think we can have a look at what fell off on the bike a short while ago. So here we go. Was it Rico or was it Miguel?
Yeah, I was looking at you, Matt. No, it was Rico's.
It was Rico. And do you know what? It was lucky it didn't go under the wheel of Miguel Hidalgo.
The gap.
Rico Bogan is right on the wheel of Martin Van Riel here, and he's going to ease past him.
That's right.
I guess for Martin Van Riel, that is not really what you want to be seeing so early on into the bike. We've still got 63 kilometres or so to go.
There we go. So we did, in fact, see Mika Newt getting that drafting penalty, and that's so disappointing. He was obviously having a great race today, full of confidence. We've spoken about it all week. we were building him up for a big day today.
Just get your legs going again. Just stay on your pace. There goes a couple of athletes by.
Well, that's it. I was actually, as you were talking there, Greg, I was looking at the timing splits that we had on the left-hand side, and I thought he's going to get on his bike again just as that second pack come past him, and that could be really useful for him because obviously he's lost touch with those 4 leaders, or the 3 other leaders now, but he does now have a group to ride with.
Now, this is very unusual to see a couple of passes like this. It's up to Bogan to drop back. It's up to Kyle Smith now to drop back. And then Martin Van Riel, he needs to hold the pace at the front to just stay out of this, you know, the whole drafting fiasco. And what can happen here is they can pick up a minute penalty.
Yeah, Yuri
Kulin has got a problem.
You know, interestingly, I saw when he came round at the end of the lap before this one, he was stretching out his back a lot as he went through that technical section and grimacing, pulling a lot of faces. And we sort of got some intel at that point that it seemed likely that he might not be able to finish the race. And it seems like, there you go, stretching out that back, some kind of cramp or seized up muscle there. Something's not gone right for him there in his back, or it could even be down into his glute, his hip area. But he's had to withdraw from the race.
Let's listen in.
I dropped back straight away. I was struggling to keep up and then get off.
Wow. So what we believe we've just seen there is Kyle Smith being awarded a drafting penalty. Now we're going to have to wait and get confirmation on that. But it did look as though he was given a blue card.
But let's have a look at this.
Yeah, so Kyle Smith.
It's a shame we don't have VAR in triathlon. Can hear you.
She totally had wrapped over. I have athlete number 6 doing his penalty.
So there we go, Kyle Smith taking his minutes drafting penalty.
Just seen there, Mika Newt blast by him, and we saw him ask for a bit of VAR in triathlon, and it's obviously still weighing heavily on his mind.
Yeah. And guys, just to reiterate that a drafting penalty is non-disputable.
Yeah, it's certainly not. So 12 seconds, 11 seconds left of this penalty, and he's going to probably be joined in this transition zone by those behind him. Mika Newt, Jelle Geens, Antonio Benito Lopez aren't going to be far behind, but Rico Bogan and Martin Van Riel,
yeah, I think they've already gone past him.
They're neck and neck at the moment in transition. Rico getting the jump though on Martin.
With those socks already on that we know that he wore all through the swim, with those booties that he had on as well.
So Carl Smith out of the penalty box, and he'll join Mika Newt there in the second transition zone, who is putting on socks. And Jelle Geens as well. Similarly, getting ready. I think almost Antonio Benito Lopez went a little bit far past his stance.
Flying into transition there, didn't he? He's having a brilliant race today. I think we saw him race quite a few times last year. I think his best race was 6th in Ibiza. He was 7th at our series opener in Singapore, but a bit of a poorer day for him in San Francisco. But I think he also works part-time as a police officer back in Spain. So he's another one of our athletes who's a very busy athlete, but having a great day today.
No socks for Carl Smith in some pretty snazzy shoes, has to be said.
And he's going to have to run like fire.
The next two laps or so.
There we go, just as you're speaking there, it's updated to 14 seconds. So we've not yet had eyes on Jelle Geens, but he will be able to see them up the road. There we go, Jelle Geens. He can see the lead motorcycle just ahead. He knows that those two athletes who are the very front of the race are within striking distance. And I think he's going to blow straight by. And as we're talking about it, Jelle Geens has made a move.
Wow.
He has surged out of that turn. So that turn was 3.5 laps into our 6 laps. We've got 7.5 kilometers to go. And now is the moment. Jelle Geens has pressed on. Martin Van Riel right now, he's got to respond. He doesn't seem to have anything to quite get back up to Jelle Geens, but this is where he's got to find something, or Jelle Geens has got this race sewn up.
All their focus has to be
It's got to be on
this-
Rico.
Yeah,
Because Rico is the next athlete up the road. I mean, who knows what will happen with Martin or Jelle? One or other may blow up at some point.
perhaps here for Rico Bogan, who, I mean, the trouble with Rico Bogan, as you said earlier, with him sort of grimacing, is he does look like he's in pain all the time when he's running.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to tell whether he is or not, but I think we can probably say, can't we, looking at him there, that he's not in his best run shape.
Kyle and Mika have gone past him, but they've not clean dropped him. So he's done a really good job of keeping within touching distance.
He rounds that U-bend and puts his fist up in the air.
And he should enjoy this moment. Wins aren't that easy to come by, and he's earned every second of this one.
He certainly has. He stayed close enough on the bike. He managed to battle it out for 18 kilometres on this run leg. And he's going to take the tape here with Vancouver in the background. Jelle Geens wins his second ever T100 race here in Vancouver. And that's a huge smile
Isn't
on
it?
his
The
face.
smile says it all. Jelle Geens, of course, has a partner and a child back in Australia, and so for him, he's just spent several weeks away with, of course, the San Fran race and here in Vancouver, and that hit home a bit differently when you've got to take time away from your loved ones to do this, and you can't take them with you everywhere. So I know Kate and Sienna back at home will be rooting for him and just delighted with what he's managed to achieve over the past two races.
So Martin Van Riel didn't quite have enough on the run. This is a really, really strong performance from him, though.
Back on the podium where
Back
we're
on the
so
podium.
used to seeing him.
Exactly. A brilliant performance here from Martin Van Riel. Second place for him, and he'll, I'm sure, get a congratulations from his good friend.
And that is it. They are incredibly good friends. They've raced together at the short course circuit for a decade or so, and now they've stepped up to the T100 together and are dominating.
And about to join them on the start-finish line is Mika Newt. A very impressive result, this. A third place, given he did get that 1 minute drafting penalty on the bike. He was, as we mentioned a few times, one of our most confident athletes coming in to the race today. He was
Taking the hair out again.
talking the talk.
I love it. Go on, show us those locks, Mika. I absolutely love that.
If you've got hair like that, you
I
might as
know.
well flaunt it. But 2 third place finishes for him in 2 weeks is really, really strong stuff. And it sets him up
Especially with the
perfectly,
penalty, of course.
Especially with the penalty. But it sets him up really, really well for the next part of the season. And he looks delighted with a third place for Mika Newt.
And here we go. So Kyle Smith appears to almost be labouring a bit around that corner. He seems to be just dragging a foot as he goes. Whoa, so Antonio Benito Lopez, we missed this. He must have overtaken both of Mika Newt and Kyle Smith. He is going to come in with a career best 4th place.
Antonio Benito Lopez in 4th. And he looks pretty tired from his efforts.
Here we go. Oh, he's limping his way across the line, Kyle Smith. Full grimace on the face, but he has managed to drop Rico Bogan. So with all that he's faced today, he's still crossing the line in 5th place for Kyle Smith.
Wow. It'll be interesting to hear what happened there. If that's a cramp or an injury, we'll find out later. Rico Bogan, winner in San Francisco, will have to settle for 6th place here in Vancouver. They're all crouched
They're
over.
broken, aren't they?
It looks like that run course has really taken its toll on these athletes.
I think this course in general, I think we've broken them. But hey, these are the very best all-round endurance athletes in the world.
The men's results, because it was a fantastic race this morning. Jelle Geens finishing in 1st. Martin Van Riel went with him on the bike, went with him on the run as well, but wasn't quite enough to match the pace of Jelle Geens. Germany's Mika Newt rounding out the podium in 3rd. and even more impressive when you consider that he also had a drafting penalty. Spain's Antonio Benito Lopez in 4th, Carl Smith in 5th. He also had that 1-minute drafting penalty. Then it's Rico Bogan in 6th, our winner last time out in San Francisco, with no surprise again, the fastest bike leg of anyone, but the run not quite quick enough to challenge at the top. Morgan Pearson with a couple of purple sectors there. That's a Formula 1 term, but if you watch Formula 1, you'll recognise the purple colour there. But with the fastest swim and fastest run of anyone, a 57.44, comfortably faster than Jelle Geens in 1st place. Jason West in 8th. Panayotis Bitados, beg your pardon, in 9th, and Wilhelm Hirsch in 10th. So that race has had a pretty big impact on the race to Qatar standings. Martin van Riel now out in 1st place with a nice little lead there ahead of his good friend Jelle Geens. Rico Bogan in 3rd, Mika Nut in 4th, Antonio Benito Lopez proving consistency is key. He's in 5th, Carl Smith in 6th, Yuri Kulin in 7th, Hayden Wild in 8th, Morgan Pearson 9th, and Leo Berger rounds out the top 10 in the race to Qatar standings.
Good job, Jason. Good effort there, boy. It was like a mass accident. Look at it.